Jalen Jacoby is presented by Samuel Adams.
He is Jalen Rose. I am David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What exactly is it that we do?
We give the people what they want.
Jalen, we all saw this coming as the confetti fell on the floor in Orlando. We knew we would be talking about Michael Jordan versus LeBron James in the GOAT conversation. LeBron addressed it himself with our Rachel Nichols. Let's listen to the King.
The debate's gonna happen. Y'all can talk about it. I'll talk about it with my guys when we at home, our friends and all that stuff, but I'm not gonna give it to y'all. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna fall for it. You guys know how much I love Michael Jordan. I wear number 23 because of Michael Jordan. When I first got my first pair of Jordans, you couldn't tell me nothing. So y'all can do the debates. Y'all can figure that out.
Challenge accepted, LeBron James. He wants us to figure it out. He wants us to have the debate, so we will. Now, you and I have been arguing about this passionately for years and years now. But what we decided to do is put emotions aside and decide on some criteria that could measure the GOAT. And here are the 5 criteria that you picked. Scoring titles, NBA titles, MVPs, Finals MVPs, and Defensive Player of the Year. Why did you pick these 5 categories?
They establish dominance and they're not emotional. We're not upgrading or downgrading teammates. We're not talking about the number of teams or coaches somebody played for. We're talking about who's the greatest basketball player of all time. And in order to get to that, you have to hit those 5 marks. If you're winning championship, if you're winning Finals MVP, if you're winning scoring title, if you win a Defensive Player of the Year, if you're winning those awards, now all of a sudden you go into a different echelon of all-time greatness. And this criteria was not available clearly earlier when the NBA was established, but that is a great metric for everybody out there when you want to have the conversation about who's the GOAT. Take those 5 categories and slot the players in, not the other way around.
And that is exactly what we are going to do here today. Now, one thing that's interesting about these 5 categories is no human being has ever achieved all 5 in a single season. However, there are 4 people that have achieved 4 of the 5 GOAT criteria in a single season. Michael Jordan has done it 4 times. We have Shaq, Hakeem, and Kareem. Jalen.
Since they've been keeping stats, these are the greatest individual seasons of all time. Those terrific performers, and look, was a big man's game. 3 of those 4 are centers. Notice that, and they did it each one time. Michael Jordan, a 6'6" guard, did it 4 times.
That's important to point out. And as you said, this is just a single season where one human being has achieved 4 of the 5 GOAT criteria. Now, we're going to do an exercise here. Again, that was a single season. What if we opened it up to people that have achieved 4 of the 5 GOAT criteria over their entire careers? You would think a floodgate of great players would come in, but it's only 5 more people. Kobe, Wilt, Durant, James, and Robinson. Your thoughts?
This is where you start talking about some of the most explosive players that ever played in the NBA. And think about it. Of this criteria now, only 9 basketball players to ever wear the Jerry West logo on their chest have been able to achieve 4 of these 5 categories at some point in their career. At some point in their career. That is outstanding for the players involved.
It's also important to point out that players like Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell didn't have the opportunity to win some of these awards. But, Jalen, there's one human being standing on this planet over the course of history that has actually achieved all 5 of the GOAT criteria over the course of their career. And it's not going to be a surprise exactly who that is. That is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. But it's not just the fact that he did it, it's the quantity of times that he's done it. Take a look at this, Jalen. Your thoughts?
Sometimes I dream that he is me. Not only did he achieve all 5 at some point of his career, Jacoby, it ain't like Defensive Player of the Year where he just did it once. He was the scoring champion 10 times. In 6 of those years, his team won the championship. The scoring champion who also won the championship that year. Michael Jordan was the Finals MVP 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times his team won the championship. That means each time he was the dominant force. Oh, also he won 5 MVPs. And so when you start talking about the GOAT, Michael Jordan has been able to achieve things in the statistical era that are just unmatched, and the volume and the quantity is outstanding.
Absolutely, and we both know that there's no perfect way to decide this, and that's why it gets debated so heated in barbershops and conversations over time. And one thing that's important to identify during this particular conversation is not every player had the opportunity to win Finals MVP or Defensive Player of the Year because those awards were established later. So one person that we definitely want to highlight, along with Wilt Chamberlain, is a gentleman by the name of Bill Russell. Bill Russell had 11 titles in his 13-year career, and look at those other accolades. They named the Finals MVP after him. Jalen, respect Bill Russell.
And you can't have this conversation without mentioning Magic, Bird, Tim Duncan, and Kobe Bryant, who are going to round out anybody's top 10 or top 12 list. But this list right here for the young people, when you start talking about all-time great achievements, that gentleman right there is the king of all kings. 11 championships in 13 years. And if they had Defensive Player of the Year, he would have not only won it so many years, that should also be named after him, along with the Finals MVP of the NBA.
And one thing I also want to say about Bill Russell is he averaged like just below 20 points a game. Like he wasn't a true scorer. He just affected the game so much with defense and rebounds. And he played 13 years and won 11 titles. That cannot be downplayed. Now, Jalen, we know this is not an exact science, but we've established this criteria. We've sort of adjusted for eras. And when it comes down to it, when you compare Michael Jordan and LeBron James, given these criteria, it's not even close. Your thoughts?
And that's why LeBron still has more work to do. He's in Los Angeles. He just teamed up with AD. They have won. I believe if he would have stayed in Miami and Chris Bosh could have stayed healthy and played with Dwayne Wade and allowed Pat Riley to continue to build the roster with Eric Spoelstra as the coach, I think he would have got a lot closer to these numbers earlier. But since he's still playing at an MVP caliber level, he still has an opportunity to continue to get closer and closer to the GOAT. And when people talk about Michael Jordan, Jacoby, they always talk about his intensity and his toughness and his killer instinct. But you know what they don't talk about? The grace that he played with, the beauty that was Michael Jordan's game, the finesse. He played basketball with his tongue out. Just think about that for a second. Michael Jordan embodied cool, the way he had fashion, the way we rocking his shoes still to this day. It seems like when we talk about him, people mention him like he wasn't a graceful basketball player, like he wasn't the most beautiful basketball player to ever watch. And LeBron still has more work to do on the floor. However, off the floor, LeBron James got the number 1 spot. No question about it. We talk about social, political, putting on for his culture in the neighborhood. LeBron James is the undisputed MVP. He's the Bill Russell off the floor.
And Jalen, you know I'm a huge LeBron James fan. When he was on the Cavs, I root for the Cavs. When he's on the Heat, I root for the Heat. When he's in the Cavs, I root for the Cavs. When he's in the Lakers, I root for the Lakers. But Tom, if you put up that last full screen one more time, even as a LeBron James fan, I have to say, objectively, with these criteria, he's got some work to do to be considered the GOAT. It's just there right in front of you. 10 scoring titles to 1. Defensive Player of the Year, 0. Titles, MVPs, LeBron still has work to do. But however, he was second in MVP voting. He's only 35 years old. There's still more work that LeBron is going to do on the court, and I cannot wait to see it. So there you have it. We've removed emotion. We've leveled the playing field through errors. And when it gets down to it, Michael Jordan is the GOAT, but LeBron James can still catch it. Oh, that felt good. I feel like we finished it. No one will ever talk about the GOAT debate for the rest of time, right? It's over now, right? It's over. We decided it. It'll never happen again.
Oh, and extreme dominance is 3-peats. Michael Jordan has 2 of them.
Well, we will see if LeBron James can accomplish that in Los Angeles. But now we turn to Tuesday night football. And you know I love the Bills, but guess what? Titans, who have been dealing with COVID issues for 2 weeks now, but apparently COVID is great for your football game because the Titans were executing. They looked great, and they ran through the Bills. Ryan Tannehill looked especially good. What did you see from the Titans last night that was encouraging?
I saw a team under Coach Vrabel building off the success that they had. And not many off seasons do teams re-sign their starting quarterback and their bell cow running back. And it had a lot of people on my text chain and on my social media soul searching, asking themselves like, wait a minute, is Ryan Tannehill better than my starting quarterback? That's what it kind of had people asking last night. And the other thing it had people asking is, would you try to tackle Derrick Henry? Like, would you really try to do that?
Look at what happens when you try to do that. Poor. Look at Josh Norman just getting thrown to the side like a rag doll. Jalen, imagine if you tried to tackle that man.
Well, considering Josh Norman is another adult, and it looks like he's a Pop Warner player going against Earl Campbell in the NFL, I'm pretty sure his teammates and coaching staff and all of the people in his phone are really going to be giving him some jokes about that one.
But this is not the first time Derrick Henry has embarrassed a grown adult with a stiff arm. Take a look at these. Derrick Henry has done this over and over again. Jalen, narrate these for us.
Well, that was Jalen Ramsey right there. No, it wasn't. Jalen Ramsey ain't going for that. That's Jacobs. See, Jacob, frost your wrist up. Watch out now. And as you see, that big fella... And Jacoby, that's throwback football like Earl Campbell, Franco Harris, the big body backs, Christian Okoye, all of those guys that ran behind their pads.
Just pushing Earl Thomas not once, but then just for good measure throws him out of bounds. Like, I love watching Derrick Henry run the football so much, and he's been doing this since college. That's what he looked like right
there as well.
Absolutely, and Jalen later on,
big body backs. He's the throwback.
Later on in the program, I will tell you who I think could join Derrick Henry in the back. Coming to you live from Pier 17 in the South Street Seaport District of Manhattan and brought to you by Chase. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, we had the honor of being joined by who I consider the best prospect in this NBA draft. Now, we have an interview with LaMelo Ball. Take a look.
How y'all doing? Y'all good?
Great.
Yes, indeed. Always a pleasure to have you on. You know this is your parking spot. We're going to make sure no matter where you play, we're going to be there to represent because you are a guy. We've been making sure that we ran your highlights year after year. We don't care if it's overseas, Ohio. We don't care where you at. Jalen and Jacoby will be there to represent.
My man, thank y'all, man, for real.
Absolutely. So, pre-draft process. This is a really exciting time in your life. Congratulations. As somebody that has gone through that process, what has it been like for you so far, and what have you been hearing from teams?
It's been cool. Everything from teams been good, but like this is the first time it's actually been different, you know, with the coronavirus and everything going around. So I feel like it's the first time it's new, like without the pretty much going to the combine and all that stuff, you know.
In my opinion, you are the best prospect entering this NBA draft. I really think that you are going to be a star in the league. And in this pre-draft process, you've been rumored to be targeted by basically like 15 of the teams in the league. I've heard so many teams associated with your name. What teams have you had discussions with, and what are those discussions about?
I think it was just two teams, just Knicks and Warriors, and that was just like a little Zoom call.
Do you think the Knicks and the Warriors? Yes. Do you think the Knicks and the Warriors are interested in drafting you?
I mean, hopefully everybody is. I mean, to be honest, I'm really just ready to go out and play. With the whole little draft process, I'm too much with it.
So I know that the Warriors showed a little interest and had a conversation with you. After that conversation, when you were thinking to yourself, what would it be like to play with the Splash Brothers? Do you think you could mix in with those two on the basketball court?
Oh, definitely. I mean, them shooters from anywhere, so that'd be crazy, I feel like. Putting some shooters around me.
A couple of things about your game. There are people that can pass the ball, but then in football, there are also people that anticipate and pass others open. Where did you get that innate ability of court sense?
Probably with my pops. I feel like he's been working on this for a long time, just having me play. Yeah, he had me playing local with all the people. He didn't like go out and get people for AAU, all the best players. He just had me playing with the locals. So with that, you got to know who to pass to, who not to pass to. You know, a lot of stuff comes in with that, and you just start getting it over time, and then it all just start clicking.
LeBron James is going to be in so many GOAT conversations with Michael Jordan. Who do you feel like is the greatest basketball player of all time?
Man, see, that's tough. Well, I grew up with watching LeBron and stuff, so I would say LeBron. But from the stuff my pops told me and seeing Jordan and stuff and his mentality like that, man, it's a tough one for sure. But 6'9", all the stuff, yeah, Bron overall player. But like the way I like playing and watching stuff, I love Jordan. The way he just got that mentality and stuff.
Along with getting drafted in the NBA, you get the opportunity not just to be a professional basketball player, but also to endorse and partner with brands. What brands are you looking forward to endorsing when you get into the NBA?
Pretty much just whatever fits me, comes to me, and feels you right. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much it. I just love stuff that's real.
What about kicks? What about your kick game? Yes,
facts.
indeed.
That's Puma right there. So the kid's gonna be coming. Kid's gonna be coming for sure.
You hear that, Jacoby? You hear that, Jacoby? He bought that Puma life. He bought that Puma life, Jacoby. We just got an exclusive on Jalen and Jacoby. So LaMelo Ball is saying on Jalen and Jacoby that you're going to sign an endorsement deal with Puma?
Yes, sir.
What made you decide to partner with Puma?
Pretty much it fit me, the whole culture thing, you know, one-of-one, just pretty much being myself. And I just saw myself with Puma and saw that I could work with that.
I love one-of-one. For those who are not familiar with you owning it, tell everybody what one-of-one means to you.
Man, one-of-one, it really just means a lot. First of all, we can start off with favorite number being 1. And then second, just be yourself, you know, create, do you. That's pretty much that, everything it is.
LaMelo, I just want to send a message to all general managers in the NBA. Do not pass on LaMelo Ball. Do not pass on this opportunity to have LaMelo Ball on your team. There is no better prospect in the NBA. And when you look at your competition, and I know you do, and when you look at who else could be picked where, when you look at the draft forecast, I know you do. What do you think about some of the projections of you getting passed on by teams?
Like I said, I'm gonna just go out there and play. I don't really get all too involved with that type of stuff. Just wherever I land, that's where I land, and we're gonna go from there and have fun with it and just try to win. We're gonna get these wins. That's all I'm worried about, is winning for real.
Are you prepared for all the attention that you're gonna get from females once you become an NBA basketball player?
He said, wait, hold on. I like how you said once, though. You funny for that.
My bad. The increased attention that you get.
Increase, for sure. I mean, I just live my life. That's all I can say.
Oh, man. That was hilarious. Well, we definitely appreciate having you on. Like I said, this is your home court. Congratulations on your mega endorsement deal with Puma. Celebrate and enjoy. And we look forward to having you on the show.
It is fight night this Saturday where we have Vasily Lomachenko going up against Teofimo Lopez. That is at Saturday night at 10 p.m. on ESPN. Someone will walk away with the lightweight championship belt. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, big news in the NFL last night. The New York Jets have just straight up released Le'Veon Bell. Didn't trade him, just released him. Your reaction to this big news?
I got it home for him. We was talking about this off wax with our producer Demetrius, and Russell Wilson has a 3-down back in Carson. Mm-hmm. Now if they add Le'Veon Bell, who runs routes like a receiver, they could almost be a version of what we see with the Saints, as they have Kamara as well as Murray catching out of the backfield.
Oh, I've got a home for him too, Jalen. Imagine a back like this joins an undefeated team in the AFC. And I'm talking about the winners from last night's Tuesday Night Football game, the Tennessee Titans. Now, before you say, oh, wait, they've got Derrick Henry. You know what Derrick Henry's not great at doing? Running routes and catching footballs. So much like you had it with the Kamara Murray example, guess what? You add him to that Titans team, they immediately become the favorites in the AFC. I would love that for Coach Vrabel, Tannehill, and Henry. It takes a little bit of workload off of Henry. I think that's the perfect place for him to land. And stay tuned to Jalen and Jacoby every day on ESPN at 2 p.m. and we will tell you not just who the greatest of all time is, but the latest news, like where Le'Veon Bell will play football. That will be on tomorrow. Don't forget, subscribe to our podcast, rate it, and review it. We'll be back tomorrow. Why is that, Jalen Rose?
Thank you. You're far too kind.
You got to give the